And who is supposed to teach us this? Because we, some of us going out, getting married, getting our first kisses and first loves and all of that, and nobody taught us what to say, what to do. So is the family missing? Are we missing out on that blueprint? And who are we supposed to get this blueprint from before we get started?
Well, that's a good question. Now, I say that the blueprint needs to come from, it needs to start from in the household, but it also needs to start in the church. And we know sometimes, things don't go in that order, but we also have to just think about this in the union, the vows that we say, that we have to take them to heart. Too many times people are just saying, now you hear a lot, well, we can all, if it doesn't work, I'll try it again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, let's make it work the first time.
Wow.
So we have to really, and we ourselves can make that blueprint as long as we communicate it with our partners. So, I mean, what do the ladies say out there? We have some callers that want to call in. That number is 661-467-2407.
All right, let's go to the phone line, 404-405. Good evening and welcome into M. Michelle, the radio show we call the Loving Our Mandingo. And Dr. Ev, how you doing? Welcome into the show.
Hello, ladies. My name is Lisa, and this is absolutely wonderful. I love the title. I love the title. And
Lisa, are you as thrilled and things crawling up and down all over your body as I am right now?
you know what? There is no dry or boring way to say Mandingo. You have to when you say that, it just does something to you.
Yes,
it does something to you, and I believe when the men hear it, it does something to them too. It makes them stand up a little bit taller, makes the shoulders come out,
yes,
the chest stick up. I mean, they kind of walk with a different kind of swag when you call them. That's my Mandingo over
yes.
there. I really.
Woo, woo! I love it, my sister. Love it, my sister.
Yes.
I'm so happy that you're calling, and this is really where we have a lot of problems in our community, in our particular here community. And we need to sort this out, because I think when we see what's going on some places in our community with the brothers and the sisters, and we're going to go in depth in this and kind of figure out what in order to bring back this kind of a feeling that I'm vibrating now, and the feeling you're vibrating and my sister is vibrating. It has to come from somewhere, and something is rising up this thing. And it's rising up for this Mandingo. So we need to prepare ourselves, and we need to prepare him. So where do we start?
Well, I agree with you, ladies. It definitely needs to start in the home. That's our parents are our first and our best teachers. And, a lot of times as we get older and, teenage years, it's all about kind of, strutting your own stuff. And I know, and my parents don't know anything. And then as soon as we can, we want to leave home and go far away. And so we miss being around the elders to look and see how they stuck and stayed in their marriage through it all. No marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. No person is perfect. Mm-hmm. But you ride it out. And so I think the way it starts in the home is just like B. Michelle said. You have to love yourself. So teaching our daughters and teaching our sons to love themselves for who they are. And you're not going to be perfect, but you are perfectly imperfect. And so you need to love that about you, and knowing what your deal breakers are, knowing what your standards are, knowing who's a good catch and who's not a good catch, knowing that, the woman shouldn't pursue the man, I had someone say to me the other day, oh, I'm having a Super Bowl party, and there'll be some single men there I think you might be interested in. I said, it doesn't matter if I'm interested in them. I said, they need to be interested in me, because I'm the prize, I'm the catch. They have to pursue me first, and then I'll determine if I'm going to let them catch me.
Lord have mercy. That's what I'm talking about. B. Michelle, my sister. I mean, you're the expert
Yes.
here. I hear the sister say one thing, and I really want to zoom into that, because we don't want to be sending dual messages. And I want to be clear in my mind. The sister says, write it out in a relationship. I mean, stick it out. I'm thinking, and this is a spot that a lot of women find themselves in a relationship where, and I'm sure maybe she don't use the word in the same context. I hope not. We sit in a relationship. I mean, it's definitely not going our way. Maybe abuse is in there and all of that stuff. And we sit and we're riding it out and we're sticking it out
Oh no.
until the children
no,
get
no.
out
No.
of there. Then we run away.
No,
If we,
no, no,
oh,
no.
okay,
But
okay.
see, that's why it comes from first understanding that you love yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
then you can see the signs, and we're going to talk about those red flags. You see signs, and sometimes people are like, "Oh, but I love him." And what did Tina Turner say? Well, what does love have to do with it? When he's beating you and abusing you, using verbally abusive to you, that is not the way we want to live. Because if he loved himself, then why would he want to open his mouth to say something against the person who he claims he loves? So
And I'm sorry,
just understand. Go ahead. Mhm.
I'm sorry, can I clear that up? No, I surely did not mean stick and stay through everything. No, no, no. There are some very clear things, that you need to leave on. But if you get to know the person and not be so quick to say, I just want to have a wedding, I just want to have a party, I just want to have a ring, if you get to know that person, you see how they treat the other women in their lives, their mothers, their grandmothers, their sisters. If you have some conversation and really spend some time with this person, you will know. But then, of course, there are those people who change once you get into a relationship. And so when they change, if you are in danger, no, you need to leave. I know. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because that was not what I was saying at all.
No.
Wow.
No. Now there's a poem that I wrote that kind of speaks to that. And we don't want to say that just, sometimes maybe the man might think he's the man for you, or you might think he's the man for you, but he might be the man for somebody else. And we also need to understand and recognize that maybe, brother, you might need to, find somebody else. And this is called powerful brother. I know that you are a powerful brother. Beams of illumination flow within you, through you, just as the blood of our ancestors flows through your veins. I know that you are a powerful brother. And as you moved across the room, entered the portway, I and every other sister felt your awesome presence. The room was filled with your essence, the vapors of your scent. Your chest high and mighty, your head up with confidence, your stride purposeful and committed. You exude power. And if our soul's journey leads us in another direction, know that I know you are a powerful brother. So that's the key. If our soul's journey leads us in another direction, know that I know you are a powerful brother. So you can be powerful, but you need to be powerful on that other side of the street, because what you are offering is not acceptable to the standards that I have set for myself.
Wow. I hear you repeating that, and I'm kind of I mean, chills running up and down my spine here. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at my man son or my man child, and I'm saying, I wish those words, I had them to really inject them. And I say inject them in him so he can stand a little taller and strut a little bit more and get out there in that. So I'm thinking that we mothers, we creators, we we need to really get down more with our men child, because a lot of times we just let them off the hook, and we really kind of focus a little bit more on the the woman child, but not strengthening the man child to bring in that other queen, the solid queen, to strengthen the empire, which is our generation down the line.
Absolutely, Dr. Eve. We need to raise our male children to be the men that we want for our daughters, for our nieces, for the community to be strong. And that's what one of our church members said. I raised my son to be the man that he needed to be, the man that I wanted him to be, that I wanted, the man that I was hoping to marry, but not in a way where she was trying to have him and coddle him, so that it was almost like, that's my man. No, because he has to be released out into the community to continue that growth of our community.
Wow.
So yes, we definitely have to just, give that man child that strength. So he is the protector. He knows how to provide. We can't have him sitting around in the house and not knowing how to take care of himself. Both the man and the male and the female need to know how to do most things themselves. We have to get rid of these gender roles,
specific,
and be the people, the strong people that we are, because we have been created to be greater, do better things than Christ did. Now, if we really live in the Word, in the world of being abundant, our abundant blessings, then that's what we can do. I can change a tire. I can learn to change a tire. I might not want to change it, but at least I can have some knowledge. But when my brother is around, yes, I will say, brother, please help me, with this tire. I don't have a problem with going into the kitchen and cooking for this man. But if I get sick, brother, can you cook for me? If I need to go to a meeting, brother, can you cook for the family? We have to be able to, because we're both working now. This is in a different generation. So what y'all have to say about that?
Wow. Hey, give us a call, 661-467-2407. That's 661-467-2407. Please press 1 on your telephone keypad so we know you want to be engaged. We have a whole our switchboard is full, but we want you to engage with us. I'm not going to touch your line unless you press 1 on your phone. So I know you're just not just listening right there. Well, okay, let's go to the phone line and see who we got here. 678. Good evening and welcome into the show. How you doing? 678.
I'm doing fine. This is Tracy. How are you ladies tonight?
Oh, Sister Tracy, the lady herself. And of course, guys, hey, look out. Sister Tracy is going to be on Monday. Monday. She has her show coming up on Monday. So, hey, this is what we're here for. These ladies are some powerhouse here, and they have the pill, so to speak. Sister Tracy, let us hear what you have to say.
Well, ladies, I've been listening for quite some time now, and I can't disagree with anything that any one of you are saying right now. I do agree mostly, with one lady just said that, our men today, as mothers, we have to teach them how to be men. Don't get me wrong when I say a man can teach a man. The father needs to take over that man. But I believe that a woman, his mother, needs to teach him. It starts with the mother. The mother has to teach that young brother how to become a man as far as treating a woman.
Wow.
And I have a son. And I was a single mom for 17 years of his life. And I tried my best to be mommy and be daddy at the same time. Even if I can't be daddy, I was trying to be daddy, and I think I did a wonderful job. As of today, he has not gotten in any trouble. I can't speak for tomorrow. I can speak for today. And I raised him the way, just like you said, I wanted to be treated as a woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I hope and pray when he gets married in life that his wife will say these words that I'm saying. He's a wonderful man.
Wow. Wow.
Amen. Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Well, that is when I say talking about, the mother needs to teach, and I thank you for sharing that. And I know that, as the Bible says, you train up a child in the way that they should go. And, both mom and dad need to be in that, spiritual, that growth of that child. So, but when you have to take on the role, if somebody isn't there, we have all types of circumstances why mom and dad might not be there. So that sometimes you have to fill a gap. And then sometimes you also have to reach out. I feel that gap. I had help as far as uncles and grandfathers. I had help, but I was the sole person. I was in the house. I was the good mommy, and then I was looked upon as the bad daddy because I had to keep my foot on him so he wouldn't turn out to be on the corner with a bottle of OE and doing nothing. I was there. If you looked wrong, I was, like I said, and I only can speak as for today. He's good today because I don't know what tomorrow might bring. I just hope all my training in him doesn't lead him to be something that I didn't raise.
Wow. When we look nowadays, sister, one of the fear, the crippling fear that I see in young men, most young men coming in, their head and their posture, even their posture is changing because how they wear their pants, and they don't realize that they're going to be living at the chiropractor probably for the rest of their life, and the sperm count, and they won't be able to do their Mandingo kind of a stuff anyway with the way how they're wearing their pants and training their loin. But not only that, there are the postures and the demeanor and what they're taking in their brain in terms of fixated on the computers and the games that they're playing, that is sending negative information to their brain and is paralyzing them. That I think if this continues, some of their limbs are going to be atrophied before you know it. How can we, especially the men, I know that women are getting into this as well. How can we say to a man, you have a man-child growing, they don't know how to cut the lawn, they don't know how to fix a car, they don't know how to fix anything because their life is consumed in the computer and computer negative games. How, and we are, and I have to go here now, we the mothers and the aunties, I mean, we are the persons who are pushing these into our children's hand, and then we complain about it.
Well, Doc, this is Tracy. I really don't, because I don't know how to change a tire, so I couldn't teach him how to change a tire. So I'm guilty of that. I'm with the lady that said, I have a adjust of how to change a tire. Have I ever changed one? No. Will I want the black man or any man that comes along to change the tire? Yes, please, because I don't know if I don't want to get down there because I think I'm cute or I just don't want to do it. I haven't figured out which one yet. So I'm going to leave that subject alone. I don't know.
I think you're too cute, my sister. That's what happened.
Especially if I just got my nails done. I ain't trying to do all of that. But I do agree. We do need to know those things, even though in the world, we look at it as that's a man's job. But no, a woman needs to know how to do it too, because in today's society, we try to be
equal in the matter of speaking. And yes, you need to do it, especially if you don't have a gentleman that's in your life or a son that can do it for you, because you never know. You might get stranded somewhere and you have no choice but to do it. And like I said, I don't know how to do it. I guess I would just have to sit there. I don't know. But back to what you were saying, Doc, as far as the young men, the way they dress today, with my son, I didn't allow him to wear his pants hanging down. I didn't allow him to have braids in his hair. He wanted that, but I said no. He's in the military now, and I always taught him, don't put all these tattoos and stuff on you because you don't know what you're going to do in life. Mm-hmm. Of course, he's in the service and he has 2 arms full of tattoos now, but like I tell him, you're not going to be in the service forever unless you're making this a career. What are you going to do when you come out? Because, you know, I raised him, you already got 2 things against you. Don't give them the third thing. That's 1, you're black, and 2, you're a man. Mm-hmm. You know, and I understand we're all supposed to be equal, and I understand just because you look a certain way, you shouldn't be judged. But we are in the United States. We know that's not true. Mm-hmm. You do look at people and be like, you know, we've all done it, you know, and we shouldn't do that because you never judge a book by its cover. Wow. You don't know. That person could have braids or dreads in their hair, and he could be highly educated. But of course, we didn't see that because we wanted to look at them a certain kind of way. And I don't think that's right. I don't at all. I don't agree with it. But are we all guilty of it at some point of our life? I believe we are. I can speak for me. So I won't say we all are. I'll speak for me. Mm-hmm. And I try to teach my son, it's not all about video games. It's not all about, oh, I want to go to the party, I want to go to the club. Yes, you're young. I know you want to do that. But in today's world, you have to have more than that. You have to have an education. I have to preach that you have to have an education, because sometimes even when you have the education, they still look at you like they're crazy. So have that background, have that education, have that ability to know how to speak to people, have that ability when you're around this certain group of people that you know how to conduct yourself. When you're around this group of people, you know how to conduct yourself. You need to be versatile, and that's how I raised my son and my daughter. Don't go in there popping gum combs and stuff hanging out your hair and speaking like you were not raised properly. Speak like you want to be spoken to. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's how I look at it. You know, I mean, I don't expect everyone to agree with me the way I raise my children, and I don't agree with certain people the way they raise their children. But like I said, every household is different. Every mother is different, and that's the type of mother that I am. I raise my 2 children that way. My son and my daughter are totally 2 different people. I don't know sometimes what house she's raised in. She's 18. I'm still trying to figure that out. She got a whole different aspect. She's my son and daughter night and day. She calls him the good child. She's the bad child. I don't know. But they're totally different. I think boys are much different than girls as far as catering to their moms. You know, I think when a young lady gets a certain age, it's a battle with the moms because if I heard correctly earlier in the show that, you know, teenagers, once they become teenagers, no matter what the parents says, they're told wrong and they want to live their life. They want to move away from home and all of this. And I think we've all done that. I've done it too. But now I'm a mom and yes, move away from home, please. I want peace now. Go ahead, move out. I don't care. So, you know, do the thing. Yeah, I got a box for you. Here you go. So it is what it is, ladies.
Yeah, I think that you know, as far as, you know, we were talking about the gender roles and it's definitely a cross training that's needed in this world today for survival. We have to be armed with so many things. When I was working in the college environment, I told my kids that the generation that you're growing up in, you cannot just rely on, oh, I'm a lawyer, or, oh, I'm a
Mhm.
doctor. You
Mhm.
need to be technology savvy,
Mhm.
technologically savvy. You know, there are so many things that you need to be able to accomplish now, even within our, you know, in whatever profession you're in. Because if you don't make all of the money in the world to have somebody take care of your laundry, come take care of your lawn, take care of your computer issues. I mean, you could be spending money like all the time because things break. That's how they build them now.
Mhm.
You know, so we just have to be able to expand our minds. And I, you know, appreciate you, Tracy, for, you know, indicating that yeah, you know, you have raised your son and your daughter, and yes, they, you know, both, all children are different. Even if you had two female children or two male children, they would be different. You know, even raised in the same household, I'm not sure how that happens, but it does happen. But we know we just want to just embrace the, you know, we're getting back to talking about the man, embrace the Mandingo man, even talking about a male child who grows up with his father, and the longing for the mother when she steps out of the picture, and how difficult that is for him as far as the socially, you know, him socializing and being able to you know, just adjust in life. And sometimes we have our men, you know, being that strong man, they're always in that young man's, you know, neck. You know, you have to do this, do that, and all of this, and then they start to rebel. So, you know, there's always a learning process when we're dealing with our children and raising them up to be the strong Mandingo men, going back to our Mandingo, our topic, and loving our men, that we have to work on so that we have that the angels, the strong people that we have, that we're letting out into society.
Wow.
And that they're armed with what they need to
survive, and to survive too, because hey, it's a
Yes.
big survival thing out there as well. Hey, we're gonna go to the phone line. Remember, 661-467-2407. That's 661-467-2407. It's the Caribbean Radio Show, CRS Radio, the knowledge station. And of course, your host this evening, Dr. Ev and B. Michelle. You hear those poetry girls? It kind of runs things up and down your spine. Let's go to the phone lines now and pick up some more calls. We have several calls on the phone, and we're going to try to get to all of you as soon as we can. 111, good evening and welcome into the show. How you doing?
Pleasant good evening, ladies. Can you hear me?
Wow, you sound good already here. Come on, you're getting me excited. Woo! Oh, man. Listen, let me try and keep myself together. Let me try and keep myself together.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for this topic that you all are versating here this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the kind voice of Dr. Yates calling.
Oh, Dr. Yates, good evening. Wow. Good evening to you, Dr. Yates. I mean, wow, I'm going to say something. Let me just say a little bit. Dr. Yates is going to be with us on Monday at 8 o'clock. And all of you ladies who have your young Mandingos growing up and your young girls, this is the mathematician. We know we have problem with maths. We run away from this. And for us to be really the powerhouse that we need to be, those engineers, those aerospace, those explorers, we have to have the math down. And Dr. Yates is going to be here with us on Monday at 8 o'clock. So get all your kids together. He has a special program that he has invented. And when we talk about Mandingo with power, here is what we're talking about, ladies. So go ahead, Dr. Yates. Thank you so much for calling in.
I just want to make 2 points in the interest of the Mandingo child or the Mandingo man. One, it was the Honorable President Nelson Mandela who said in his biography that the reason why he was able to survive all what he went through in South Africa through the apartheid system is because of his upbringing,
Wow.
where his father had 4 wives, but the wives never lived with the father. The father lived in the center of the community where the wives lived around him, and each wife has their own home.
Mm-hmm.
They have individual homes. And he says the interesting thing about that, and this is before the Europeans came and introduced what is called polygamy and all that stuff, which is a coin term they use for the Africans, and polygamy was never even used among the Europeans. But his point was that all the children, K-N-E-W, and my K is never silent in any words. I say knew.
Mm-hmm.
They knew who their father is or was at that time. And he says, all the children had one father. And that father was always there for us. He says, however, the praise and the thanks goes to the mother. He says, I had 4 mothers that
Wow.
raised me. The 4 wives, he interpreted them as all of them were his mothers. So the strength in him growing up, the father was there as what we call the pinnacle, but it was the mothers he put the emphasis on, that raised him and make him stand and grow up tall, always looking up and looking in the eyes of people, never looking down or away. That's one of the points I want to bring across about how it's important to have women in our lives as Mandingo men. First of all, that's why it is so good to always have a grandmother or grandmothers or aunts, as they call it. I like to say Mosi, mother, sister, or Fasi, father, sister, in our lives. The other point I want to bring across is this. Since I've been advocating for years that one of the disadvantages is we as men never did, well, as children growing up, I used to always admire how the little girls used to play with dollies and how they were learning motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm an advocate of teaching boys to play with dollies so they can learn fatherhood. The interesting thing about that is this. We live in a Western European American society or principle of how to live. And when I bring this across to a lot of people, they say, if a boy grew up playing with dolls, that could be a homosexual or the term we use in the Caribbean, anti-man.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality in fact is this. The girls are learning motherhood from small. When is the boys learning fatherhood? And the idea of that boy learning fatherhood, just because the girl is learning motherhood with a dolly, the boys can also growing up learning fatherhood. There's no what you call shame or disgrace that the boy child is playing with a dolly and making him to be feminine. No, he's learning how to be father. But we never imply that. Disfortunately, many of the young boys end up getting guns when they were small.
Absolutely.
I remember as a boy growing up, it's about cowboys and Indians. While the guns were put in our hands, the girls were having dolls and the teacups. They were playing mummies, etc. And we missed out on that as children. That's why I'm a great advocate for parents looking at how we raise our children. If we have to do our search, not necessarily research, but do our searching, because it's seek and ye shall find. Never say research and ye shall find. Seek and ye shall find. If we do our searching and search beyond the present day culture, which is a European American culture influence, and look into most indigenous culture, whether it be the Mayan people or the Aztecs or the Dogons or the Aborigines or the Nubians, in indigenous culture, how they raise their children, we'd be so surprised to see that we have that kind of information in our DNA, that we can raise our children without them having to be so dysfunctional, as you mentioned in the program. Ladies, thank you so much for the time.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Yates. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Before we go to a little conversation on that point there, because those are very big points we're going to get into. Let's go to the phone line back. 805, good evening and welcome into the show. Loving our Mandingos. 805. Hello, 805. Okay. Area code 805. Let me just put you back on hold. You probably just want to listen in. Ladies, chime into that. I know when, in the Caribbean, if a guy touch a doll, he is called words beyond what little kids should be hearing, or he gets a big stick over his back to put down that doll. What is he going to become? I think one of the things that we can do is how we, just like anything is how we teach. And I think if we take an opportunity to present this in the way that it's supposed to be presented, so our young men know that they have a responsibility in our society. One of the things I think we are lacking in our Western world here, and which we have gone away from, is I don't know what they call it in Africa, what we would think like the Jewish people have it, that manhood threshold, or the more misfits kind of a
they have it coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, right to passage.
Right to passage.
Mhm.
But we as a people, we're not practicing that enough, are we?
No, not as much. It's not as widely accepted, or as widely, people don't talk about it as much. I know that here in Atlanta, we have several churches that have rites of passages program, and it includes males and females, and it's a very, very wonderful program. And people from, it's open to the community, and people come to this one church uniting for this powerful rites of passage program. But as a whole, it's, they're few and far between. But yes, I would definitely, and what Dr. Yates was saying in regard to that, the parallel with the dolls and the guns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can easily see how we are, why we're in this position that we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guns, we're putting them in their hands. You play with this. And that is, I've never really even thought about it. I've thought about the different cartoons, even the online games that kids are playing, that they're so violent, chopping off people's heads and the blood discussion out and all of this. These video games are very, very explicit now. And we keep our little girls away from that, playing with tea saucers and having tea, and we keep them as these nice little ladies. But where are the young gentlemen that we are raising who will be able to open the door for them and just do those gentlemanly things that were taught way back, when you had a parlor and you had to sit in the parlor and the mother and father were close by and you talked respectably. You understood that this is somebody's daughter that you are considering courting, and there were rules. And that's what I was talking earlier, the rules of engagement. We need to reintroduce these in society and make these kids understand that from day one, this is what you do. So when we do that, they don't have any other ideas that, oh, okay, I'm just going to run wild, because no, that's not how they were raised. What y'all have to say?
That is so true. As a matter of fact, what the sister was speaking, I was thinking of how dispersionist it is that we end up putting our children in the public school system, where the public school system is not really designed to teach our children rites of passage.
Mm-hmm.
From the time of, let's say, first grade or even preschool, it's always boys and girls until they go to 1-2 grade called third grade. So the boys never learn to be good gentlemen, and young ladies get a chance to learn what they did.
Wow. Wow. I think we lost Dr. Yates there a little bit. Let's go and pick up a couple more calls. 805, I tried to pick up your call. I'll try that again in a little bit. 470, good evening and welcome into the show. B. Michelle, their sister, my co-host here, and we're talking about loving our Mandingo and selecting them. How you doing, 470? 470, good evening.
Dr. E.
Yes, good evening.
Oh, this is me. This is Rafa.
Oh my goodness, Ralph. Mister.
You guys have piqued my interest a little bit. And I want to say it's so funny because as a kid growing up, we never grew up in the house as a young man either. We grew up outside. We play outside. We meet other young men like ourselves. So we respect each other. Now you have a lot of kids that's inside, that's playing video games, like someone just said, playing video games, so they're actually sheltered. So when they go outside, they don't even know who their neighbors are. So they don't respect their neighbors. And it's funny how, you said that the girls play with the dolls and the young men play with guns. They don't even do that anymore because they're inside playing video games. And that's so accepted now. So, when we grew up, we were outside. I mean, you said 10 or 9 kids just playing games outside. And then when the lights go up, we all come in. If we do something wrong 4 houses down, we're sent home. We come straight directly home to our mom. We can't even complain to our mom. So a lot of times what happens, like I always say, now we have 23-year-olds being moms, 30-year-olds being grandmothers. So they don't know what it really like to reprimand children because they don't know how it works. They themselves haven't grown up as yet. So a lot of times we have to look not just at the surface, we have to look beneath and find out why this is happening and why we haven't, I don't even want my daughter to go outside and play without myself looking through the window and making sure she's okay because of the way society's up. People just want to take what you have now. They have all these kidnappings and they have all this stuff. So I understand why parents don't let their kids out as well, but it's crazy. I mean, this world, we have to really sit down and figure out what the blueprints are. We lost the blueprint of how to raise ourselves and our children.
Wow.
And we got to get back to the blueprint. And then if something happened in the U.S., it become a black and white issue rather than a right or wrong issue. So this is what we have to go back and find the blueprint. And people don't understand that back in the day, our grandmothers were housekeepers for these white people. So they raised us and the white people's children.
Yes.
Now we're educated, we're doing something. They don't raise it. That's why it's so crazy now. They used to raise us and them. Now that's gone as well. We lost the blueprint.
And the television take cross. I'm going to mention a conversation, and I think we have Dr. Yates back. I'm going to open your line, Dr. Yates, so you join and you so free. I had a conversation with a sister recently, and this is a big deal. This is a real big deal. And we coming to our sisters. One of the things that we find a lot of educated young sisters and older sisters, young sisters find it difficult to get a Mandingo. And she was telling me of the situation of a Mandingo, an Asian guy and a Caucasian guy. Both of them, all 3 people had a problem across the board with their particular person. The Caucasian guy said, well, I had a bad encounter with, I think it was a wife or something like, or a girlfriend, but you know what, I'm just gonna go and make sure that I make a better choice. The Asian guy said the same thing. He was wiped out, but he says, I'm going to make a better choice when I do my thing. The Caucasian brother, the Mandingo guy, the black guy says, boy, I ain't going to deal with no more sister, period. I am not going to deal with no sister because, you know, she really, really did me up. I am going from now on is everybody else other than the sister. Um, talk to me. Somebody is kind of moving around a little bit, causing a lot of background noise there. Kind of, you know, kind of. The mics are very sensitive, so we hear everything. What is this about? When we have a little problem, we talk. Our sister here talked a little bit about stucking it out a little bit, not in a positive sense, meaning that we are to talk things out. We have to get around the table and figure out what's going on. What is this about? When we have a problem with some of us, with our own people, we tend to totally wipe them off the scale.
I have to leave, but I'll tell you, I can answer that question as a man and as a history of a black man.
Mm-hmm.
You could go all the way back and find out that you always find men leave their homes to find better jobs, to find better economic way of getting stuff. I mean, if you ever look at a lot of people our age, they always grew up kind of by themselves because dad already leave the home.
Mm-hmm.
And the black woman is, and a lot of people, I talk to a lot of brothers about this, and they kind of almost disagree with me. The black woman is the strongest being on earth because they actually are not just for the children, they actually raise the children a lot of times by themselves. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times the way the system is set up, the man can't. The man cannot. A black man can't. Back in the day, couldn't find a good job. They have to leave one town to go to another town, and then one year leads to 2 years, leads to 10 years. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times that's how the black man is raised. Raised so separated from the sisters, not knowing that sisters got their back. Mm-hmm. But if one sister turn their back and probably go to a Caucasian or Asian man, they blanket statements that black woman and so that's how black women are, but that's not really how it is because we're so sensitive. Because black men is so sensitive, not just sensitive, we are kind of intimidated when we see a strong black woman because we feel that we don't sometimes hold up our end of the bargain because we are so unstable a lot of times as a black man.
Wow.
And that's the whole thing about black men. I mean, as I grow up, I'm very confident. I'm not, but it's not about me. It's about the whole culture of black men. Sometimes a black man, sometimes if a black woman make more money than him, he actually feels that he's less than a man rather than say it's our money. And so black men have to actually wake up sometimes and know that these sisters got their back. And when I say the sisters, I really do believe that. I believe a lot of black women have the back of black men. But we're so divided, we're so weak as black men because a lot of our grandparents and parents left home to find better jobs. Like I said, 1 year leads to 10 years, leads to 15 years, and you don't even see them anymore. So sometimes that's what happens. And,
let me say this, and I really appreciate what the brother is saying. It's right on point. But let me enhance that. Here's the question. 3 men. One of them had no hands. The second one had no legs. And the third one had no private parts. Which one of them is not a man?
All of them are men. Oh, but the one who don't, all of them are men.
Thank you. Good answer.
Yes.
Right. And most of the time, I get sisters would say the one without any private parts. That's what I'm saying. But I'm so happy and thankful to you for saying they are all men because I started out by saying 3 men. Men. Mm-hmm. One has this, one doesn't have that. But most of the time, society prevents the thing that if that person doesn't have a good income that the brother's talking about, as more than female, or doesn't have private party, you can't breed him in 14 children, he's not a man. It's funny, in the Caribbean, you know how we tell a mango tree? We tell a mango tree by its leaves, not by the mango it bears.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can tell it. Yes, yes, we tell a mango tree by the leaves of the tree, not by the fruit that it bears. It's just a mango tree.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't bear fruit, we still call it mango tree. Right? But you see, that's how we need to start looking at us. You know, according to, listen, one of the favorite books I enjoy reading is the Bible. I don't only read the Bible, I study it. I don't try interpreting the Bible. What I do, I decode the scriptures, because the way the scripture was written, when King James authorized 47, they called 47 translators to write the scripture, and they put it in codes and need to be decoded. So a lot of things in scripture, a lot of us not aware that book is one of our greatest treasure. But because it's presented to us some surface interpretation, surface explanation, a lot of us get turned off. But there's a lot of information within that book that we can actually learn of and bring that sense of equilibrium between the male and the female relationship. One of the reasons why the men, which like the guy you said says, I'm finished totally with the black woman, it's because it's likened onto what happened in Haiti, and the country is called Haiti, not Haiti. We don't Haiti and Haiti. It's Haiti. In Haiti, when they overthrew the French, okay, what happened is that, and they claimed their own government, Toussaint claimed their own government in Haiti. The majority of the revolutionaries refused to go back to the field and plant the cane. They said, I'm not cutting any cane. I'm not going back to that field. But they failed to realize that was what's keeping Haiti as one of the most richest places in the Western Hemisphere. So what they're saying, because they had so much hard time as a slave in that field and working so hard in it, they don't want to have not a thing to do anymore with the field. That's my interpretation about the black woman. Because both of us, male and female, are educated how wealthy we are, how rich we are, and who we are. We're going by what we are, society. So when we go through this one bad, ugly experience, we end up demonizing our sisters. We end up demonizing our brothers. And what happens is that we're missing out on the great treasure there is of us being as one, melanated people. So it has to do with educating. Educating needs to be done to our people and show how life has challenges, and you already got a jump start. That jump start is that if you came from a struggling situation and you come this far and you're still alive because the ancestors, the sacrifice they made, come on, we can go through this together.
Yes. All right, Dr. Yates, that's very powerful. Yeah, thank you so much. And you are absolutely right, because one struggle does not, you don't throw the whole barrel of apples out just because of that one bad apple that you had. So we have to understand that we are greater than our struggle, and we get better because of our struggle. So we need to learn the lessons in the relationships that we have. And if we only take that good one point, because you wouldn't be in a relationship if there wasn't one good quality about that person. And if you could grow from that one good thing that person did, that you can incorporate that into your personality, then we would all be better, and we can radiate that good. And then we would be able to show and shine our best and our brightest for each other. And then, it would be really, we would just be blinded by the light of this powerful being that comes before us. And it would be even more difficult to choose your mate, because every person that you came in contact with was so powerful.
What's it? What's it?
Wow. Let's go
I said amen. And I said amen.
A woman too. A woman too.
You got to witness.
A woman.
All right.
804. Let's bring on another caller into the room here. Caribbean Radio Show, CRS Radio, the knowledge station. And we're talking about loving our Mandingo man and selecting him. B. Michelle, our poet. Gosh, we want to hear some more of that poetry, because something is starting to happening to me here. We want to keep. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. 805. I'm going to kind of cue some more. 805. Good evening and welcome into the show. 805. Area code 805. Well, I tried. I'm not sure why you're not hearing me. All right. Go ahead.
Let me say this real quick. One of the things that I would like to put on the table concerning relationships is that, disfortunately, many of us are caught up about the zodiac sign on which we are born. But what we're not taught is that we have actually 3 zodiac signs. We only given 1. And so what happened, we're missing out on the other 2, so we dilapidated. And that's very important also about learning a zodiac sign. Once you learn your 3 zodiac signs, it's called the Trinity zodiac sign. There's 3 of them. The first one is the one at birth. Who will be the second one? Actually, the first one is not birth. The second one is birth. Who will be the first?
Conception.
Yes, exactly. Which is inception that they call conception. But the first case is inception. Because my daddy didn't call my mommy. Okay. I was conceived in the womb. I was never conceived in the womb. Okay. Right, inception. And they don't teach about that. Okay. Then there's a third sign. And hopefully you will hear about that on Monday evening. We're going to do the math. We have to do the math. Because math is in everything we do in life to learn. So a lot of us are only fulfilling or looking for expectation of things based on the one sign, which is actually a sign given to us based on the Greeks, which we shouldn't really go on because of the Greek calendar and how they consider the zodiac. Nevertheless, that being said, a lot of times we're assuming that this person is this particular sign, I'm of this particular sign, so if I hook up with that person, we'll get along because of what they say. And then we're out of rhythm. We're out of rhythm. We're out of rhythm for 3 reasons. 1, we're out of rhythm because we're charting our zodiac sign based on the Greek concept of it. That's 1. 2, we're only going on birth sign. We're not doing the inception, or I was informed in my mother's womb. I wasn't conceived, I was informed. I was formed within, informed in her womb. Right? We're not going by that sign. And then the third one, you hear that on Monday night. Okay, Monday evening. What would be the third? That's where you get the 3 dots, the triangle of the sign. It's called the Trinity zodiac sign. All right. Now, with that being said, once you learn about who you are within that, then you are able to have a sense of guiding. I don't want to use the word guidance because you can't guide a dunce. It's hard to guide a dunce. Okay? Guiding. And that's really the math. The math is very, very important. Majority of us fear and fail math. But in this conversation that we're having, I put that on the table to say how we are out of rhythm in relationship. We're out of rhythm. And that's why we're hurting ourselves, we're hurting our mates, we're hurting our children because we're out of rhythm.
Wow.
When it comes to relating. But however, we can learn how to get in rhythm and stay in rhythm.
Wow. 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 Thank you. Thank you so much. Woo. Oh, wow.
That's the power. Getting in rhythm, and then we have that self-knowledge so that we can love ourselves. And that is definitely, Dr. Yates, what we need to, have to come full circle in this conversation. Knowing that math, knowing our own vibration, and then
that's the word. Talk about vibration. Yes, beautiful word. Yes.
All right. Yeah. And we can talk about then relating to someone else.
Yes. And everything around us. And I say this. Absolutely. The math that we learn at school, if you couldn't take it home and enhance your home or enhance the income, then it's not math. Why are you going to school and learning what they call math, but you couldn't take it out of the classroom, apply it at home, and enhance the family? Then it's not math. If you go to school and they teach you math, and that math has not taught you how to love yourself much more, then it's not math. If you go to school and you're learning math, and that math is not teaching you how to get closer to your creator, then it is called DEAD, dead math. That is in a relationship. Look, I'm gonna tell you I'm putting my personal story on the table here tonight because this is so needed. This is so needed. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of being in Western concept of relationship that the sisters that I've been in relationship were being hurt, and I'm being hurt. And I said, something is not right. We all have good intentions. We all meant good when we started out. But somewhere along the line, we couldn't deal with certain things. And I learned it's because we're out of rhythm. And then when I said to myself, you know what? Perhaps if I find me someone, first I need to stand still, like it's written, stand still. If I stand still and just look within me and learning what it is I have done wrong to cause pain to these sisters that I've had relationship from the time I started having a relationship to now. And then therefore, I need to be apologizing to myself and the sisters.
Wow.
Amen. Yes, yes. That's
The
what I'm
apology starts
talking
within
about.
first. Yes. Start with me and to the sisters. And I made a covenant to myself. And I realized indeed what the situation was. I said, you know what? If I can be given the opportunity of meeting someone who has never been colonized, perhaps it would make all the difference to me. Now that's what I was thinking. And so I went on a quest. And in that quest, it took me all the way to Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia is the only African country that's never been colonized. And I said, when I found that out, I was so ecstatic. I was like, is that possible? You mean the beast never had his hands and claws in a country in Africa? And when I found that Ethiopia was the only African country that be colonized, I said, okay, let me go on that quest. And I did. And when I went there, I felt like I was on another planet. Because the whole rhythm of life is totally different and outside of Ethiopia in the West, because there's nothing outside influencing it. What I saw there, because they have their own tradition from way back prior to the Bible was being made. And I was like so glad. Yes, I was so glad I was in a place, in a rhythm where the majority of the people look like me, I look like them, and they were in the rhythm of their own alphabet. It's called alphabet. It's alphabet. You learn from A to Z. Alphabet means A to B. Alphabet. They have their own languages. They have their own culture. They have their own spirituality. And the interesting thing about it is this: is that the females don't have to be told to be females, and the men don't have to be told to be men. It is part of the rhythm of cycle of life. And that is what really gave me a sense of zero balance. Zero balance. That's why I do what I do with a passion. And I'm so glad I got in tonight in this program, because I hear when I hear talking about Mandingo, I said, we got to definitely from sisters or brothers to learn much more than what we're learning here in the West. Now, I said, I'm going to put something on the table. I was able to be introduced to someone. They talk about arranged marriage. Yes, I do believe in arranged marriage. You know why? Because the Creator arranged this marriage.
Oh boy, go ahead, brother.
And put me together with the sister. The first thing the sister says to me: how long would you like to be married for?
Wow.
Oh. And I pulled back. I said, what you mean? She said, because in our culture, everything has a cycle.
Wow.
And everything is running the rhythm of its cycle. Just like our woman has her cycle. And a man also has his cycle according to their culture. But we're not learning this in the West. So I said, well, in the West, we say until death do us part. And she says to me, no, don't bring death into this marriage.
Oh, Lord.
Don't bring death. Why does death have to do with this marriage? Until death do you part. Death has nothing to do with this marriage. So leave that out. And I said to her, forever? She says, I cannot promise you I would live forever. So leave that out. You see, this is a Western terminology we use.
Wow.
Western concept about relationship and marriage. And she said, set a time. Set the hours within the time, or years, set the years within the time, she says. And then I have to stand still and listen to my inner ear. Listen to the voice within. And I said to her, 7 years. And she smiled beautifully. I mean, she just glowed. She said, thank you for listening to the ancestors.
Wow.
And I said, 7 years came to my spirit. My mind just says 7. And she says, thank you for listening to the ancestors, because that is called the cycle of marriage. Like, you got 7 days, they say make a week in the West, but for them, they say 7 days make a strong. How can 7 days make a week? Think about that. It takes 7 days to make you weak. But they say it's make a cycle of strength. But in English, we use the word weak, and then they tell you it's spelled different, but it sounds the same. So the 7th cycle, just like in the scripture for Jacob, they call Jacob. He had to work for 7 years for Rachel. But then he ended up getting Leah, the elder sister. Then you have to work another 7 years to get the younger sister in marriage, right? They're written in scripture. So the East, they have this concept of the 7-year cycle. So when you decide not to marry for 7 years, you must write down in paper what you would like to accomplish within the marriage within 7 years.
Wow.
Powerful.
Wow.
So we're not taking each other for granted.
Yes.
We're not taking each other for granted. So you said, this is the thing I want to accomplish. What you want to accomplish, this thing you want to accomplish. And first for us, we both, she had her paper that she wrote, that I didn't see what she's writing, and she didn't see what I was writing. And when we gave it to her father, and he read it, and one of the things that we had in common is that we do not want to have a child until 3 years within the marriage. We both thought of the same thing. And the father smiled. And they asked me why I say 3 years. They knew why, and she said 3. But me coming from the West, they were curious. Why would I say the same thing too? I said, because in the beginning of marriage, we're still children. We're still babes in the marriage. The first year, we're still young. And children are supposed to bring forth children. But in the 3 year cycle, at least we have some experience. It takes us 3 years to be accomplishing things and building things. And then now, before a child comes into the world, we must already have the child inheritance.
Wow.
But the child doesn't come into the world in poverty. For example, it is written, be fruitful, and there's a conjunction, multiply. The fruitful part meant to be productive. And once you're productive, now then you can multiply because you have the productivity with inheritance to give to that which you multiply, bring it forward. So it's in the numbers, it's in the math, it's in the culture, it's in the rhythm. And disfortunately, many of us in the West are not told these parables or these stories or these testimonies and not hearing it. But like I said, I'm so glad you sisters are addressing this issue of the Mandingo, and this is my tribute to it. I am not contributing. I leave the con off of that word. I am tributing. Yes. Today. By sharing how you so welcome. How we need to look at things more from within and find out from our ancestors. And let me say, a lot of information is in our DNA that we inherited from our ancestors, but we're sleeping giants. And we're asleep. That's why we have a dispensation and not conversation. We're versing. We have a dispensation because we do something that's not right. The way our children are dressing, the way they're talking, it's not right. So we have to crow like the rooster. We have to roar like the lion. So we have to make some kind of sound to say it is not right. But at the same time, we have to look for what is applicable to make sure that our children, even us, in relationship, better ourselves, so we be role models for our children. And I'm so glad, I'm so thankful for a conversation like this on the radio, because this is healing time.
Yes.
It's
healing time.
Yes. And so powerful, very well said, Dr. Yates, because then you can talk about, we can say, at last, this is love. I have waited for so long. Yes, because we are coming together after we have the power within us
and we know our numbers, and we're in tune with the universe. So it's all that's yes. Oh, so this is very powerful. We'll definitely be tuned into your show on Monday to know more about these numbers, and we thank you so much for your tribution to this.
You're a fast learner.
Yes.
You,
so much.
you know, I'm here, and a lot of things, are start to shifting in my mind. You know, a lot of things. You know, I'm thinking. What came to my mind? You come to the table with an empty dish, and you just know you don't know what you're going to be fed in it. I came pure with the purity of my heart, and I would have never thought out of the wildest dream that I would be kind of turned around there, sort of, because I'm looking to touch that Mandingo for him to sizzle me and for him to arouse me and all of that. I'm being honest. And this is what I'm looking for. But what I'm seeing now, I have to step back, look within myself, and come forward again as a different person. And I listened to you saying one thing when we talk about the man, the Mandingo, the parts that he has, the finance that he has, the status that he has. These are some of the things that we're taught in the Western world, how to choose this mate. And I think that is causing us a problem. And also because we're taking this responsibility on ourselves, that we are a child into this. We don't have an overview or an outlook to have somebody who is an erudite person who look at both of this from an impartial eye and say, well, son and daughter, you come before me. Let me look at this. Let me look at what you have and discuss this to you to see if this is the right parts for this puzzle of life. And how much of us go into this marriage thing, as we're taught here, creating a contract, but on a blank paper. You know, you all we say is until death do us part, and the rest of the contract that you sign on this blank paper. I mean, you don't know how much night you want to have sex, how you want to have your meals, how you want to have the sex, how you want to have all of this. That when somebody is falling down, we have to pull out our contract and say, wow, sister darling, I mean, let us go to our contract that is binding here. The sex is diminishing, and you know that was part of my priority. What are we going to do about this? You know, I mean, and we take this for granted.
But it's interesting you said, in the West, it is a contract. In the East, it's a covenant.
Yes. Yes.
Total different thing. In the West, it's a con. Con means against. Con means to trick, to fool, to beguile, to swindle. Contract, it is.
Wow.
That's why the courthouse is full of divorce system.
Yes.
Can you imagine that?
Yes.
You know, they go to the church to get the priest to marry them, but they don't go to the priest to get a divorce. They go to courts.
Wow.
Now think about that. Think about that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a con game. It's a con game. But that's why it's a contract. So it's applicable because it's a con game in the West. In the East, it's a covenant because it is an agreement you're making with the spirit of the ancestors, with the present elders, and with the Creator. See, that's how they look at it. And those 7 years, come the 6th year, you do a review. And I fulfill my covenant with my mist. The word for wife over there is M-Y-S-T, mist, and I love that word. Because she's called mist, she's not called wife. She's called mist, and mist is the root word for mystical being.
Wow. Wow.
Mist is the root word for mystery, meaning that she represents she, the Creator. Your mist is she, the Creator, in the human form. That's the kind of language and standing, and not understanding. standing, but standing means comprehension. So it's in the language, in the Kwankwa. Kwankwa means language, in the language. That she's called mist because she's a mystical being. She's the creator in the what I have to use the word wifely form. And that's like demeaning her, wife. No, it's not that. The Western call it that. But it is called her mist, M-Y-S-T, as a mystical being. Mm-hmm. And the husband, he's called Baal, B-A-L. You know why he's called Baal?
Mm-hmm. Is a balance?
Thank you, my sister.
Wow.
Thank you, my sister. That is exactly why.
Wow.
It's a good word for balance. Yes. And he is only balanced because he has a mist in his life.
Wow. Would you look at the woman as the higher self of the male, in a sense?
She is she is the creator.
Yes, sir. Yes,
because
sir.
Out of her womb, the male came. Out of the womb, the female also comes. So, see, when that's why it is best when you salute. Salute means prayer. When you pray, it is always best to say, Mother, Father, Creator, I come to you.
Yes. Yes.
It is equal, it is balanced. How are you going to be saying Father God, Father God, Father God, and leave us mother, and you can know your mother first before you can know your father?
Woo!
That's how the West have been thinking. That's how the West have been thinking. So we've been raped of our spirituality. We've been raped of standing. They want us to understand. How long are we going to be under the stand of comprehension? Look at that word, understand. See? So when you're addressing the Creator, you always address the Creator as Mother first. Mother, Father, Creator. See, we in the West, we get this Western concept of He, God, as a male, chauvinist, arrogant God. But yet we grew up, every child is born of a mother. Why did she give up that child for adoption or not? They said born of a mother.
Wow.
And in the East, that is why they decode the scripture. They don't translate. See, they don't interpret, right? They decode the scripture. When it says, it says in Genesis, and the Creator said, let us make man in our image like this. It was she, the Creator, telling he, the Creator, let us create humans like unto us, both male and female. Like unto us. Both female and male. But the rest, whether it be Islam, whether it be Judaism, or whether it be Christianity of the West, they only talk about this he, God. There's no equilibrium there. There's no balance there. And so that's why I'm so thankful I was able to listen to the voice of the ancestors, went home and went to school in Habesha, they call Ethiopia. And Lord, I had to go to sacred ground, a holy place, a place that was never colonized. It was colonized, that would have been taken away from them, and they would have been like all the other African countries, but he got. But there I was able to learn and do the math.
And that's why we need
to. What is the starting number of all numbers? What is the starting number of all numbers?
Zero.
Talk to me, sisters. Thank you. What's that?
Zero.
Say. Thank you. Don't question it. Say.
Zero.
Yes, zero. What you said. Thank you. Don't question it. Why have to put a question mark at the back of that? Zero. Not zero. Zero. Yes. Zero is the starting number. And why? Because the number zero represents the Creator. It's infinite. Where does the zero begin? Where does the zero begin? And the zero symbolically represents the woman, which is the womb, the shape of the womb, the shape of her egg, of the beginning of life. That is why they acknowledge the Creator as she. You see, this is like I said, I told you when I went there, it was like a different planet. Not like the West.
So when I got here and I started learning, then I was truly born again. I became a Nubian. The word Nubian is where they get the word new being from. So I became a new being. I was born again. In my thinking, I started seeing have more respect for the female.
Yes.
More respect and honor for she, the female.
Yes.
Because she symbolically represents the zero, which is the creator. Now, when you do the math, and you ask all the 6 major religions of the world, which I've done, and I study them, I'm glad I did, which is Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and the Baha'i, the major religions of the world. You ask every one of them, how many true God is there? What would they tell you?
One.
They all would say one. Yes, they all would say one true God. There's many paths, but it's one true God. But note they mention a number, and that number is what? 1. What number come before 1?
0.
That's the creator. The creator is the God. And that's a woman. Any male child can tell you, I came here through the womb, the zero womb. To the zero, I came here through the woman. Any girl will tell you that I came to the same source. So the 0 exists before the 1, but in the West they tell us 0 means nothing. That's why they disrespect the woman.
Yes. Wow, folks.
And in the West, they always are trying to create this male superiority.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the whole slavery, all of that system is a false superiority that they're trying to get us to forget where we came from. So, Dr. Yates, we thank you so much for being the Mandingo man in this conversation, for all the callers that called in. And I'm sorry, in this verse station that we are having. We're not having time. No. This is knowledge. This is power. Yes. So we have this verse station that we are, uplifting and getting the true knowledge of what the Mandingo man is. So yes, this is Dr. E, what we gonna do?
Oh my Lord.
Absolutely.
Yes. And we're gonna secure ourselves into 0.
Yes. Oh my Lord. Folks, we are definitely we got our vessel filled, not with necessarily what we were thinking about, but what is good and nourishing for our soul. That's what we got here this evening. Hey, 661-467-2407, the number to call in. We have a board full of everybody on the board listening in. Hey, we'd like you to contribute. We have about 50 people on the board. I mean, thank you so much for listening in and calling in. But we'd like to talk to you. We'd definitely like to talk to you. And we'd love to hear, B. Michelle, we want to hear another something from you, celebrating our Mandingo.
Well, now that we know once the Mandingo understands the power of 0 and he has that respect, then we can say that he has a kingly arrival. My king cometh.
That's right.
I hasten to bellow. His majestic presence is awesome. He slayed thousands of dragons in my honor. I am the adored of all his treasures. I laud his magnificent name. He enters my throne. He is my defender, my shield, my strength. His silvery bronze sword salutes my stimulus. He is excellent. He causes the purple-blue horizon to awaken me from a utopia of twilight. His massive chest pillows the emulance of my love. His dynamic deltoids demand my pelvic delight. He cradles me in his stable, compassionate arms, and my king cometh.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
That is kingly arrival.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh, let me breathe, Lord.
When you're thinking of that king, I see how shiny and gold that crown is. I can see the queen putting the crown in the king's hand. The crown the king as he's not king.
Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, oh boy, oh boy. 661-467-2407. Please, I mean, I know you guys out there and you gals out there want to really say something. Make sure you press 1 on your telephone keypad. Just press 1 on your telephone keypad and I will get an indication that you would like to join in the conversation. Of course, folks, at 8 o'clock on Monday, we are going to be joining the Mandingo. You hear speaking here, Dr. Yates. And of course, we talk about mathematics. Life is a formula. Life is a formula.
Yeah.
And the reason why we have in such a difficult time is because we know not yet what the formula is. So what we have to do and what we're trying to do here with our shows and gathering together, ours kind of having this communion together, is to try and help each other fight the formula. So we don't have to have those stresses and distresses and all of those kind of dissing. We can have that covenant. And when we have covenant with that king, then the covenant kind of just kind of umbrellas out and envelopes a lot more than, this, so folks, I mean, oh boy. So
But yeah, but how about this, Dr. E? Why don't we have some callers call in and tell us what needs to be on their covenant list? Call in. Let's create a new covenant list. Let's forget about the contract that is in the Western world, and let's come up with a covenant that keeps us binding together, because that's what we want. And we know that the covenant has a renewal process. So we're just going to keep on being in that excitement, in that growth, that rebirth, knowing that we are new beings in this covenant together. Wow. Yes, so call us. But and we have you, Dr. Yates. Tell us something. Get us more into what else we need to think about being on the covenant. We already talked about the number of years.
Like I was saying, I've come to 6th year. Well, for me, it's a 7-year covenant. And in the 6th year, we do a review and see what we accomplished in the covenant. If you accomplish 70% of what you covenant, then you can renew for another 7 years. So the marriage is already renewed in the 7th year. That's why you see the West call it 7 years itch. They call it an itch. For them, it's an itch. Because they have jazz, they have a disease. That's why they call it itch. Yes, the language. Yeah. So for us, it's a sacred commitment. That's why it's a 7 years covenant. And after 7 years itch, if you're married life for 7 years, you pass the itch and all that fun stuff in the West, we say it like that. So based on what you've accomplished, and like I said, 70%, if you accomplish 70 plus, fine, and you renew. If you have not, then there are what you call, as they would say in the West, amendments to the covenant. See? Because what you're looking at is, you ask them the question, and you see, the marriage is based on communication. The marriage is not based on sexuality, like the West.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Communication. Let's say that again.
Right. Communication, right.
Yeah.
And it's about the rhythm of cycle. It's interesting. If you notice most indigenous African tribes, all the children look alike. Why is that? Because these people are not into sexuality, they're into mating intercourse.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference.
The difference is that there are 2 months within the year that you are at your highest peak for intercourse. But we're not taught that. Based on the 1-3 zodiac months of a year, a month should never have 12 months in a year. That is Gregorian. The Catholic Church came up with that 46 Gregorian calendar year to throw us all out of cycle, out of rhythm with nature, with the cosmos, and with the creator and the ancestors. That's why I teach about the 1-3 month a year cycle. For example, 7 days they say make a week, right? You speak in English. 7 days they say make a week. How many weeks make a month?
Depends on which month.
Or mainly. No. It's a confusion. Or why no one says thank you? Thank you. You know, no one. You see, it is established. 7 days. That's why you have each day has its own name. 7 days make 4 weeks make a month. How many weeks make a year?
They say 52.
And it is 52 because I did the math. It is 5-2. It is 5-2. They call 52. Now that's called basic math, right? So we're dealing with 7 days make 1 week, as they call it. I say strong, but they say week. That's fine. I speak in English. I say week. And then 4 weeks make a month, and 5-2. They say 52 weeks make a year. So, ladies, what is the basic math we have to do now to find out how many months make a year? What do we have to do? Well, simple. We must now divide 5-2, they call 52, by 4. It's basic, simple math. How many 4s would there be in 52? Well,
13.
13. 13, exactly. 1-3, they call 13, yes. When you multiply 4 times 1-3, they call 13, you get 5-2. You wouldn't get 5-1, you will get 5-3. You get exactly 5-2. So that means a year is supposed to have rightful nature year of cycle time, supposed to be 1-3. They call it 13 months, supposed to make a year. That's why the Ethiopian calendar has 13 months. The Chinese have 13 months. Yes. The Jewish people have 13 months. You know, they know the secret of it. But in the West, we go by this Pope Gregory the Catholic Church, which is nonsense. You know, introducing the 12-month cycle, and then take the 13th month, took the days of it, and scatter it around and get some other months, a couple more days than the others. Which is nonsense. So you're not in rhythm of the cycle of nature of time, of how it's supposed to be based on the sun, the earth, and the moon. The moon never changes its position. The earth, the sun never changes. We never see the sun appearing in the west and then disappearing in the east. It doesn't do that. Everything is set in order. See, so what happened is that we're being thrown off based on the month. So the people in Africa, that's what I'm saying, the indigenous people, they're not going by the Western calendar time. They go on based on the cosmos, the moon, the sun, the earth, and the stars, etc. And they lie. That's why you see most of the children they all look alike, because they know there's a certain time of the year for mating to bring forth. That's why the children look all the same. It's in the cycle of bringing forth. There's 2 months within the year that you're at your highest peak. I do the math. It's called graphmatics, chart on it to tell that you're at the highest peak. And if you mate within those highest peaks, you guarantee to bring forth a child that looks just like you. As they say in your mirror. You know? But we're not taught these things. Simply for the male. You learn about his cycle too, and you mate within those cycles, within those periods of time. And there's another thing we're not taught. Especially living in the West, and we're not caught up, well, we're not taught about nature's time, the ancestors' time, and the rhythm of time, like the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Moors and the Scythians, the Nubians, the Hindus, the Aborigines, these indigenous people. Since we haven't been taught, you know, about their calendar of time, they have some have 3 calendars because different calendars for different things. Calendar for farming, a calendar has to do with procreating. Calendar has to do with the yearly calendar and all that. So we're not taught these things. We're given this one Pope Gregory concept of time, and it's for us war. Why would the year begin in the middle of a season called winter, January? In the middle of the season of winter, a year begins? Doesn't make any sense. But when we plan our lives along with that, we're out of rhythm. And we're out of rhythm with ourselves. We're out of rhythm with the people we're with. However, I'm saying this to point out that we don't have to stay in ignorance. I may be born in an ignorant society, but I don't have to tribute to the ignorant society by being ignorant for the rest of my life. There's information in our DNA. We stand, many of us get dreams and visions. And we see things in our dreams and visions. And if we see comes intuition, we want to know why. Because that's who we are. So we need to start learning about these things. You know, and the West, what they do, they demonize it. Oh, that's witchcraft, and oh, that's obeah, and all. You know, they demonize our secret of being successful in a rhythm as we are, and tell us it is evil.
Mm-hmm.
However, that being said,
wow.
Come the 6th year in the 7-year cycle, you do the review, realize indeed that you have less than 70%. Let's say the male didn't produce as he should have, etc. When you come in love, you can't, and you don't take the other person for granted. That's the point. You know, a lot of people in relationship and they know they're not happy, but they say, just for the kid's sake, I'm saying this. That's not healthy at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're lying to yourself. Because before the children came into the world, y'all were together and y'all made the covenant to each other. And so they're going through this pretensive marriage. And in the West, marriages, every marriage has an expiration date. We need to start looking at it like that and being taught like that. Because when you do that, then you're not going to set yourself up to fall so hard you can't get up again and you get confused. Expiration date comes with marriage of the Western concept of marriage. Sisters, brothers, think about that. You set the time. You said, I would like to be to you for 1, 2 years, 1, 5 years, 7 years, 3 years. You set the time and accomplish things within that time. Don't take each person for granted within the hour of the time because of the Western concept of marriage. So I'm saying here, if you reach in love and you have a covenant and you realize indeed that the time that you spent is being expired, you move on in love and respect.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't let the system get involved in your, because they didn't put you together in the first place. They never put you together in the first place. Put you together meaning they didn't spark the love.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the government didn't choose who for you to marry. No. You choose to love each other. You made a covenant with each other. And you say, in respect to the law of the land, let us get it registered. The registration is not the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's the agreement with the two people. That's the marriage. You see, these are things that you thought out people. So you get a better standing of Western concept. Remember that word concept? Look at all those con words. Western concept of marriage has nothing to do with the spirituality of what marriage really is. Because to them, it is a contract based on concept. And we need to stop lying to ourselves and pretending to ourselves, oh, it's going to work. And when you can now, at the time is expired, because first of all, when you start out with a contract, but even in the contract, there is not anything mentioned about spirituality, about how you're growing together spiritually and how you're developing each other and investing in each other spiritually, morally, socially, ethically, and traveling to places of your ancestors to bond more with the marriage. Mm-hmm. You're doing that, so you expect marriage to last. So what you're doing is just trying to fulfill the contract of a Western concept of marriage. I'm saying it's for the passion because I've been there.
Wow.
I've been there. And we need to stop hurting and start loving. First, stop hurting and then start healing so that we can love in rhythm. Of life.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We have about 9 minutes to the upside of the show. Of course, Dr. Yates is going to be with us on Monday at 8 p.m. right here on CRS Radio Caribbean Radio Show. And if you have, most of us, have a problem with the formula, the mathematics, and without those numbers lining up, we tend to have serious problem, and that comes with serious consequences. So Make sure you head over here on Monday. I close your line a little bit, Dr. Yates, because we have a lot of background noises there, but I'll open up back in a little bit. Let me try one more time. 805 805 805. You've been indicating you want to talk for a while. 805, your line is open. 805 591. That's, you know who I'm talking about. Good evening. Welcome into the show. I think you may have your line on mute or something, or you just don't know. Well, press 1 on your telephone keypad, and then that indication that you want to talk to me will go away. All right, let me go back. B. Michelle. I mean, tonight we got our basket. I don't know what we call it, basket or a cup or a basin filled, and you know, I'm sure that this conversation definitely hit home in a different kind of a way, you know, very seriously. Sometimes, you know, it's like when you learn to talk and you get the message, you got the message and you cannot get the message. This is where I am right now. Your line is open again, Dr. Yates. So, B. Michelle, you know, we got 7 minutes. Tighten it up and tie it up until next time. I think we, B. Michelle, I'm not sure. I think your line is mute. Probably you're not able to hear me. Your line is mute somewhat. Anyway, I guess she'll come back in a little while. I hope that, I think that's the line. B. Michelle, is that? Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay, yes. Okay, so I just wanted to thank all of the listeners. I know this has been such a powerful topic, just loving our Mandingo man, and we found out that we need to first know who we are and love ourselves. We need to get into the original, the going to the Eastern, exploring the entire self, and not what we have come to in the Western context of, and again, that's a con word. We don't want to be conned into a knowledge base, but we want to really explore the knowledge base of the true self, because we are the Nubian beings. We are new in our spiritual awareness. And so we want to be open for the love that we can have with our brothers and sisters being together and uniting. So we need to understand what that covenant is between the man and the woman. You know, we have a lot of people talking about, okay, well, we're getting married, and oh, well, if it doesn't work, I'll get a divorce. Oh, well, and I've heard guys say, well, I believe in the institution of marriage, so if that doesn't work the first time, I'll get married again. But we also have to look at the one consistent thing that comes into a marriage that you are in is you. And if you don't grow yourself and learn from the experiences that you have had with relationships, then you keep repeating the same things, and you keep offering the same self, not growing yourself, but offering the same thing to different people, but expecting different results. So we have to look within ourselves first, grow ourselves to be that spiritual being, that universal being, understanding that there is one God that came from that zero infinite space, whatever you call that God, and then being empowered to love another person and to unite and to be a better person, understanding that this is the covenant that I have with my soulmate, my mate that I choose, that I select to share my life with for this set period of time. And if we do well in that set period of time, then we don't break down either person. we go our separate ways if that's what we need to do, if we haven't honored our covenant. And that's how we become a better community. So we want to continue to love our Mandingo man. Our Mandingo man comes from the power that he has discovering manhood. I'm going to do this right quick. I think I have a couple of minutes. Nights of darkness, discover manhood. Approach the power of your inner peace and your passion. Discover you. Venture into the heart of what matters. Love, faith, trust, family, God. Experience the camaraderie of your brotherhood. Discover your brothers. March to the tune of a beat so potent. Discover your creator. Strive for your personal best in all your splendor. Discover you. Pursue the spaces of sincerity, nonviolence, and humility. Discover manhood. Master your strength, your intelligence, your sexuality, and your integrity. Discover you. Back to you, Dr. E.
Wow.
That is from Shades of Mandingo, the title of my first book of poems, first book, and it's a book of poems dedicated to the Mandingo, the original man.
Wow. Sister, also tell us where, these are some powerful, powerful, powerful words here. I mean, and these are life-giving words. I always call them, they say words make flesh, but I'd say it makes life. Tell us where we can get some of these books.
You can get the book from http://bmichellepoet.bigcartel.com. That's bmichelle, BMICHELLE, poet, POET, dot BIGCARTEL.com.
Wow. Hey, so folks, you got it there. Be Michelle right here with you. We're going to be here every Sunday, 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. I'm going to be getting a massive, massive show next week. Come on over. And of course, you know what you're getting from this and what we're here. We hope to put it in our lives and make it in our soup and blend it in. There are words that are used today. I mean, so empowering. And we realize how disempowered we are using certain languages and how languages really become a part of flesh and a part of life itself, and how it interacts and connects with our spiritual self, how it downpress and how it lifts us up. So words are very important, and the words we speak, how to power, how to deliverance, and how to strength. And hey, I can't begin to thank Dr. Yates and all the folks that have listened to us. And B. Michelle, my co-host, will be back with us on Sunday. Remember, it's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Hey, we're here with you, Dr. Yates, tomorrow night. And those of you who are going to be making some love tonight, make some good love and take care of the one that you are loving. And we will talk to you. We'll see you. We're out of here for now.
All right.
You must understand the touch of your hand makes my pulse react.
10 seconds.
That it's only the thrill of boy being girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second hand?
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
What's love?